Hey everyone, Adam here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be going over how to improve your Facebook ads profitability, how to get that cost per acquisition down as low as you possibly can and get that return ad spend, that ROI as high as you possibly can. We're going to leave no stone unturned. It's just we're going to be going through it all. So you're definitely going to want to watch it all the way through to the end. And if you haven't heard of me before, my name is Adam Matthews. I've been in the e-commerce space for over 6.5 years now, all the way since January of 2017, and I run a growth marketing agency called AQM, where we basically partner with brands doing anywhere from 6 to 8 figures in yearly revenue. And we've also helped over a dozen brands scaled over $100,000 per month. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So basically what we're going to be covering is basically the 6 main ways that I see that basically just covers everything in terms of how to improve your profitability. And that the first 3 are basically regarding the advertising. So better ads, better targeting, or different campaign types, and testing out other products. And then 4 and 5 is mainly around the site and improving your average order value and conversion rate. And then number 6 is improving your margins. So let's get into it. So first things first is better ads. Now, what I would focus on is first and foremost is making sure you're utilizing all the different ad formats and really double down on what's performing best. You'd be surprised where some ad formats just completely flop for some brands and some other ad formats just absolutely kill it. So I'd really make sure you experiment with video content, static, carousel, and catalog. Okay, so you want to make sure you use all of them because you never know. Like what happens if carousels do absolutely kill it for your brand and you just never test it out. Like you just need to make sure you test them all out. Same with catalogs too. If you got a ton of SKUs, that really makes a big difference. So first and foremost, I'd make sure to leverage all the ad formats. Number 2 is actually making sure you're going through all of your content that you have available and try to, even some existing content, try to splice that together and make some different variations of it. Like go through all of your IG, check through all of your Google Drive, Dropbox folders, and, check through the site, everything. Just try to squeeze as much content as you have, as well as getting new content as well. And then number 3 here is making sure you're testing out different marketing angles, which is really important. So, obviously that comes down to doing the research and really understanding the target audience. You want to understand their desires and fears, understand what they care about in regards to the product. Basically the way to find that out is really going through all the reviews. And then you can also research different articles on the niche as well. A really good example is this: we have a brand that's in the plant space, and I'm not really too familiar. Like I don't really own plants. I actually do honestly want to own plants eventually, but right now, as you can see, there's no plants around me. Don't have any plants, but I do want them eventually. But I found it very helpful to go through some articles in the plant niche, and you'll find not only like the way they talk, they refer to themselves as like plant parents and like the wording they use, but you find out what they really care about and what they like in plants, and that's just an example there. But this could be applied to any niche, but it's really helpful to touch upon it. Obviously, if you're like an expert in your niche, let's just say for example, you got a brand in the golfing space. Well, hopefully you're a golfer and you understand everything about golf. Then obviously you don't need to go there and research it. But that's why it always helps to start a brand around something you actually have some expertise in or already just like in general. That just makes it a lot easier as well. And you don't even have to really do the research on the audience because you are the audience. You also checking out competitors and the angles that they're using. This is really good for just getting a lot of inspiration as well. Doesn't mean you directly copy them, but it means that you just get a lot of different inspiration and builds off some other ideas and gets the brainstorming going and gets things going. Another thing to factor into is really understanding the 5 stages of awareness. This actually came from Eugene Swartz's book, and basically should always be applied in any sort of marketing. It's kind of almost like the foundational level of just understanding where your customers are in the buyer's journey. So unaware is the most broad of them all, and that's really just like people that just aren't aware about they even have a problem, let alone knowing anything about potential solutions. So they're just completely they have no clue. They're just completely unaware. But it's also like the most broad. If you think about it, like unaware is just like the biggest possible audience, and then most aware is like the tiniest amount, obviously, right? And then problem aware, that's the next stage. It's like the prospect kind of understands they got a problem, but this is only really the beginning of their journey. Like they kind of like, they're dealing with a problem, but they just don't really know of any solutions, which is the next one, which is good news. The prospect now knows they have a problem or need, and they're starting to get answers, including what they might need to fix it. And then after that one, it's like after they have the problem, then they're like, okay, it's trying to think of solutions. And then after that, it's like, okay, product aware. Now your prospect is aware of all the options and now exploring them, including yours. This kind of skipping ahead in terms of, static frameworks. Us versus them basically appeals to, or kind of, kind of goes at these people here, like the product aware people. Now, if they're kind of looking at different competitors or aware of product, then you want to stand out and really showcase your differentiating factor. So that's really important. And then most aware, congrats, your prospect. Basically, you've taken your prospect not even knowing about the problem, solution, or anything like that, and to becoming almost a customer because they're just absolutely the most aware. So it's really good to understand these and also test out ads with different awareness levels. Because, say for instance, let's just say we have a client that sells like an anti-aging pillow as an example. We could, tailor our ads towards just, us versus them, product aware people, like why they should be buying our product versus, competitors, to the people who, maybe are mainly solution aware. So they know they have a problem. They're like, it's like they're getting older. They're just looking at ideas to, reduce their fine lines and wrinkles, all that kind of stuff. And then they start looking at some solutions. So we could maybe appeal the ads and the messaging towards these kind of people. Now it's a bit more broad, right? They might not even know. So we're really like stating the problem. And then really kind of showcasing our solution, right? So it's kind of speaking mostly to these people. They don't even know about the products that are available, and we're framing ours and into being that solution for them, essentially. So that's something really to understand. It's a really good foundational level, and you can really use that in your marketing. Up next, test out different static frameworks. So I've spoke about these before on the channel, but quick summary: core benefit is really where you have, and these are just some of them. There's even more. There's honestly unlimited amount. But yeah, you always want to stay on top of what's trending, what's doing well. But there's so many different ones. But these are like the main 5 that we always run. The core benefit is basically when you kind of state the main benefits of the brand, product, etc., or even just like the main pain point, etc., kind of calling it out to the audience. Review, this is, or social proof review. This could be either press or just mainly reviews right on the statics. Call it listicle is where you have the product in the middle, all the benefits right around it. Us versus them, that's basically what I was just talking about there, where you compare your brand or your product to competitors. List out all the the pros and cons of each, and obviously position yours as the best solution. You can also use this to the more solution and problem aware people, where you can kind of compare your brand and your method to the old way of doing it. So there's more of the higher stages of awareness. They basically just aren't product aware. They don't even aware about the product. So you can also position it that way. An offer discount. This is kind of your classic ad that you see, kind of having a main offer or kind of having a discount, etc. Up next is really testing out different video ad frameworks. Is really, you want to there's unlimited amount, like, the vertical split screen, background music of video clips, fast-paced video with upbeat music and captions, 3 reasons why, captions plus reviews mixed together, founder story. Like, there's just so many different, frameworks, and then you combine that with the different marketing angles and understand the 5-stage awareness. Like, there's so much within ads. This is kind of a quick overview summary, but there's so much to get involved with. But, the main thing I really want to get across is really, if you're working on improving your profitability, I would start here in terms of just, getting better advertisements. Okay. So, and just use all these frameworks in mind, because they're all very, very important. Now, next up, after you start working on better ads constantly, that's just a never ending thing, to be honest. It never ends. Is you want to test out different targeting or different campaign tips. Now, keep in mind, this is more important when a brand isn't quite at 7 figures yet. So if you're way past 7 figures, you do obviously want to test out interest and everything like that and lookalikes on the side, because it obviously generates a lot of profit. But I would say mainly going more and more broad after you're at 7 figures is a better play, to be honest, because at that point, for especially Facebook ads, you have so much data that they just know your audience extremely well. So it's more helpful to go more and more broad as you scale up. But with that being said, it is always good to work these in to your strategy. I remember I was seeing a case study on Udi, Australia, which is basically a brand selling these comfy like kind of blanket. I don't even know how to describe it really, but it's bottom line. They basically they did so much revenue through Meta, and part of the strategy was they had these broad campaigns that were just doing, huge numbers. But then they also had huge numbers through just their lookalike and interest targeting as well too. So if brands like Udi, who have done hundreds of millions in revenue, still doing it, it absolutely works, right? And that's what even the top brands are doing as well too. So at the end of the day, that's part of the play. But in summary for this, I would say you want to test out interest with different categories. So, different brands in the niche, different niche interests, different magazines, different celebrities, influencers, and then any kind of type. Like, for example, if you're in the dog space, like what kind of dog breeds do you have? If you're in the plant space, like what kind of plants do you have, et cetera, et cetera. Like if you're in the motorcycle space, like what kind of motorcycles are there? Is it a bobber? Is it a Harley is a brand? Yeah, you get what I mean by like the different types of motorcycles. As you can tell, I'm not in the motorcycle niche, but as an example there. Lookalikes and also broad, right? So you want to test out the different categories and then really just doubling down on what's working the best. If, brands are doing really well, then just start testing out more brands and really building around that. Easy as that, right? So that's something that you'd really focus on. And then also different campaign types. And obviously, as we're scaling up too as well, advantage shopping is working incredibly well. So I'd really test this out as well with all your best ads, launch an advantage shopping campaign, and also a broad CBO. They've been working extremely well too. And they're also, they don't fatigue as fast as like interests. Like although interests are good to have a part of the strategy and they're more profitable, with a broad, CBO, it's not going to fatigue as fast, right? So, and you're going to be able to scale much further. So, definitely work these into the to the testing, and obviously work it on improving the profitability. Number 3 is really testing out other products. If your brand has more than one SKU, test out other products, or if you have the ability to launch more products, then absolutely do that as well. It's a huge, product is just such an important factor. Even if you're looking at conversion rate, which we're going to cover next, a huge piece of this is product. Like I'll see some sites where they're just honestly, like, for lack of a better word, are crappy looking sites, and they literally convert better than a fancy looking website. It's just product honestly just has such an effect. But honestly, just going off about that there for a second, I used to think that honestly, the fancier the website, and the better, well designed it is, the better converts. And that actually isn't true. I think what really matters is it depends on the target audience. So, if you're targeting, an audience that really likes a premium product and premium experience, then you need to obviously have, the website really reflect that. But if you're just you just got a, classic product, then you're just, your main audience is just middle of America, regular people, you actually don't need it to be designed really nicely or even really high end. You can just have just more functional and just really make sure you're hitting all the things and make sure it's simple and easy to use. Okay. So we're obviously going to cover that in a second, but just thought I'd mention that right now. It's very important. And honestly, that was a bit of a belief broken for me. But yeah, in terms of some examples here. So selling shirts and bags, selling shirts first. This is for a brand that we're working with. We're selling shirts, and obviously the profitability was decent. It was okay. But then when we switched to bags and more home decor products like curtains, and all that kind of stuff, we started really improving the profitability, and we're able to scale much more. Because now I think the return on ad spend, I think, is clearing well over a 5. So we're way more profitable. Whereas the shirts, I think we were around a 1.5, 2. We were kind of sitting around there, sometimes like a 2.5. It just wasn't too profitable. But when we switched to other products and really focused on those, they had higher average order value, and overall the margins were better. Everything was better. So it just made way more sense to really focus on that. So really focus on that there. Really helped out. Another one too is we have a brand that sells like swimwear, clothing, all that kind of stuff. And obviously their main thing is selling swimwear, but they actually had some clothing pieces. So obviously we launched on the swimwear, but they had some clothing that ended up doing extremely well and was even more profitable. So that's the thing. That really good note here. It's just and I'm just giving you all the frameworks here. Obviously, if you only have 1 or 2 products, then, this doesn't really apply to you. But if you have other SKUs, then you definitely, it is worth it to try some other products out and really see what kind of profitability can come out of that, or launching other products as well too. So that's really something to note. Next one up. So now we're moving over to, so the first 3 are really just kind of about the advertising side of things. Now that's just one piece, because obviously if you look at the whole funnel, they see the ad and then they click through and now they're on the site. Okay. So the site, anyone tells you the site doesn't matter. It's just, they're out to lunch, because it definitely really matters quite a bit. So now improving conversion rate with better product pages and also landing pages. You do want to test that out. So main things to look out for overall, I would say one is speed. Basically, we want to make sure that speed is really, really dialed in. And to test that out, you can use this tool here called, a couple of them to be honest, tools.pingdom. You can enter in your URL, test from wherever. I just do USA, San Fran, from California, boom, test it. And then it's going to spit out basically a load time. You want this load time to be, in my opinion, under 2 seconds. Once you start passing 2 seconds, it starts getting worse and worse. We've had a brand where I think at one point it was like 8 seconds because they had like a lot of load videos on there. It was absolutely terrible. And with that, it's just your conversion rate is going down so much. Basically, there's a stat that for every 1 second decrease in load time, there's a 3 to 10% bump improvement in conversion rate. So it's such a huge needle, and you just want to make it. You want to make it quick. It's so important. Navigation. This is a really, really important one. You want to make sure it's super easy to, once again, like I was saying, to navigate your site, and easy to use and functional. It's not confusing. So you just want to make sure you nail it. I've talked about this before on the channel, but I would say a really good example of a navigation bar is this company called Figs. This is like probably the most like just amazing nav bar is this one right here. Because as soon as you hover women, it's so organized. Bestsellers, new arrivals, your scrub tops, pants, outerwear. You can shop by color. It's so good. And then as soon as you go to scrub tops, you can also filter it by exactly what you want. If you only want a Nala Slim, you can click on that and it just filters exactly what you want. So it's just very organized. Let's just say that, very easy to navigate, and obviously improves your conversion rate. I've seen this multiple times as well. I don't know why people do it. Is just make sure there's no huge block of text on the collection pages. So, and I've seen this multiple times already. I think twice for sure, and maybe even another time as well. But as soon as you click on a collection page, let's say Allbirds, I shouldn't have to scroll down extremely far to see the products. It should just be right there, boom, easy to see. So make sure you don't make that mistake, easy. Just make it very easy to navigate, very easy to shop. You just do not want them looking around or having to figure out how to. So that's something to do. Now, product page, that's overall. Now, in terms of product pages, which is arguably some of the most, that's literally where they're making the buying decision. So make sure this is perfect, to be honest. Now, for every site, no matter what kind of site you are, or whatever site you have, is you need good photos. Okay, photos are so important. If you look at compare traditional retail to e-commerce, traditional retail, you're able to talk with a salesperson, you're able to kind of feel the product, try on the product, look at it from all different angles, all that sort of stuff. With e-commerce, you're literally going off of some photos, description, reviews, like all that kind of stuff. So it's like you need amazing photos. That's literally like you're showcasing your product. And you can get some, photography done for relatively, affordable prices, or even do it yourself, and just make sure it looks really, really good. But the photos are so important. It's just spend some time getting some good photos. And the funny thing is you can use that for your marketing or in organic and emails all over your website and for your, your ads. It's literally so important. So it's just spend the time to make sure it looks really, really good. And different angles too as well. So I would say 4 to 8 is a good sweet spot that showcases the product clearly. Also people using it, specifically your target avatars, et cetera, et cetera. So just different angles, just make sure it's very clear. I'd say 4 to 8 is a good sweet spot for that. Next up, description, very clear. And I've seen some descriptions where they're just only mainly highlight, especially people are super product focused, which is good. Don't get me wrong, but they just forget that you have to sell the product and convince people to buy it. So you just want to really highlight the main features and also to highlight the benefits as well. So making sure you're just really actually, give a good couple sentence, description at the top there that really that sells the product and creates a bit of experience, right? Next up is whenever you're buying something online, say for instance, I'm just a brand new person, I've never heard of the site before. What's almost the first thing you're going to ask after you're pretty much interested is like, how long is this going to take? Like, can I return this just in case? You're going to wonder that. So if people are going to have to leave your product page where the checkout process literally is, and they're going to add to cart and checkout, if they have to leave that, that's already decreasing your conversion rate. So you want to make sure you have the shipping and return policy very clear. Okay. You don't want them leaving the product page in order to do that. You want to have that right on the, just right on the product pages there. And also reviews. Now, don't get me wrong. There is some brands that, get away with it's like the Gym Sharks that don't have any reviews, and there's some big brands that don't have any reviews. But at the same time, like when you're coming up, and you're growing and you're smaller, reviews help out a ton. It's like, I would say maybe you can get away with it if you're like a fashion brand or something like that. Swimwear, etc. But if you have a product that solves a problem or has a bunch of details around it or has any sort of ingredients or it's a consumable, you need reviews, like without question. Like I would say 80-90% plus cases, like reviews definitely make a difference. Like, because if you think about it, there's like two main types of buyers, which is like just overall, there's like the more impulsive buyer, and then there's the more careful, research, analytical kind of person, which I'm definitely more like that. But you probably know some people, some friends of yours, like I can think of like half my friend group. I'd say half of them are quite impulsive. Like they're just like, they just make decisions like really quickly. And they're just like, if you went to, the mall with them, they'll just buy stuff like that. Like they're just very like, they're just quick. They're just more impulsive. And then there's the second, they're just more careful. They like to research stuff, etc. And for those kind of people, you need reviews. Like, I don't think I've ever bought something without checking out some, like a product without, looking at reviews. If I'm buying something on Amazon, doesn't mean I'm going to go through it. I'm not like crazy detailed. Like some people, like I remember I was booking a hotel with a buddy, and he was going through almost like 3 or 4 pages of reviews on a few different spots and just reading through every single thing. I was like, holy smokes. I'm like, I like to research, but not like that crazy much. So bottom line is they definitely help out a ton. And yeah, you definitely want to make sure you have them. Now, the thing is, there's no like one size fits all for product pages, because the thing is, if you have a fashion brand, that's gonna be a lot different than a skincare brand. That's gonna be a lot different than if you're selling $1,000 furniture. Like everything is a lot different, right? So let me just give you a couple different ways I look at it. So I would break it up to, I would say beauty and any sort of consumable beauty, anything like that. I would say there's gonna be these two. So, and then there's going to be apparel. And then I'm just going to classify it as like a detailed product. I'll show you a few examples of these in a second, but beauty or consumable, you want to have ingredients on there. And then you also want to have like how to apply, stuff like that. Okay. And if it's apparel, you want to have a sizing chart, and also how to take care of it, how to wash it, stuff like that. Just anything you want to think of, like anything of like what they're wondering. A good fat thing of this too is if they DM you on Instagram, they email you any questions, you want to answer all those questions in the either an FAQ section on the product pages, which I actually have down here, or you just want to address it in the on the product pages and make it very, very easy. Like if you have an apparel brand and people are constantly asking about sizing, you need to either one, get a sizing chart properly, or two, make it very easy for them to just like see the sizing and read it, and just make it easier and more accessible for them. Excuse me there. Last part here is that if it's a very detailed product, this right here, you can do like an us versus them. This is where you compare your product to competitors, because if it's a detailed product, people are probably researching different things. Let's just say, like actually this one here, this is a more detailed product, Solo Stove. Okay. So let's just say this is your product that you have. I think they have an us versus them on there. Let's take a look here. I guess they're comparing their own products actually here, and then they have and then us versus them. Okay, so they actually don't have an us versus them. They do have it for their own products. But I would say regardless, it's actually a really good thing to do for a more detailed product. Not saying you have to include it. 100% test it out, but I would say it is quite helpful depending on what kind of product you have. I guess for them, it's almost like, actually for them, it's a very unique product. I don't think there's too many competitors. So, but if there's like more detailed product and you're selling like furniture, for example, like kind of showcasing your brand compared to competitors, definitely a good idea. And also icons with benefits too is something really nicely to have. I'm for sure they have it. Yeah, you can see it right here. So lifetime product warranty, free shipping over 99, free 30-day returns. As you can see here, kind of ties in with the return policy. So icons are really helpful to have on your pages. So that's something really to note. Photos with benefits, if it's more detailed product. Now, obviously you don't have to do this if you're, like a fashion brand or something like that. But you can see here, let's see. Okay, it's definitely, they 100% have it, it's just not on this page here. Give me 1 second. I'll 100% find it. So if I go to fire pits, let's go this one here. I know they have it. Here we go. Okay, so you can see here, new removable lash pen. Like, notice what they say. They don't say, 55 inches by, 20 inches. Like, it's like smokeless. Boom, photo it there. Easy to use. Right? And it's just like, oh, look at this, making it look, and the photo matches the benefit, right? Ultra portable. They're just able to move it around in the backyard and enjoy it with the family. Long lasting. So, they're still out at night doing it. And then, versatile. So they just, everything is just like, it's just photos and benefits. It really just sells you on the product, and it's all benefits, right? So make sure it's with the benefits. And also FAQ, if it's a more detailed product. I guarantee you they have so here you go. Frequently asked questions with this product. So how do I clean it? Like, people are probably just messaging them about it, and they just have all of that right there. So I already have that one pulled up. For apparel, I'd say True Classic, they're a 9-figure brand at this point. Everything is very detailed. You can see the icons. Photos are very, very clear. This is pretty cool how they have they almost have their reels right here. 3 reasons you need to try this tee. They have all their marketing right there. But you can see right above the fold, they got product, they got a nice little offer on it, all the reviews, sizing, very clear size chart, and then add to cart button, make sure it pops, okay? So it's like this nice dark brown color. You don't want to have it blend in with a page. So if it's a white background, do not have an all white add to cart button. Like, it should just be stupid obvious where to check out. Add to cart, boom, go through. And you can see here, description, care guide, measurements, all that. They even have just some more stuff recently viewed, and then they actually, as a apparel brand, they actually have the FAQ section, and they also have reviews as well. And then the other one I already showed you, Solar Stove, Supergoop. This one, very quick website. I love this one. But you can see here, now that this one's more of a consumable, you can see here they have different products, before and after. They got the the ingredients / benefits in there, so they have really nice photos. Okay, and then you can see here, once again, they got the icons, add to cart button. I think you can make it pop a little bit better. I do like how they have that nice blue shade on the back. I'll live with that. That's okay. But yeah, why we love it, it's just, it comes with including the original. So I love how it's like, it really just kind of sells you on the product really nicely, but I love how they frame why we love it. Ingredients, how to apply. You can see they have all that stuff, the facts, right? So, and then they even have FAQ section, all kind of stuff. So you can see how there's different, like, depending on which, space you're in, you do need the certain info. So, obviously they don't need ingredients and stuff like that, but, and if it's a higher AOV, like Solar Stove, they have a lot more info. So hopefully that helps you out there. Conversion rate, very, 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 very important. Now, improving average order value. So the main ways to do this is, one is bundling. So putting multiple products together to really create, a bundle, essentially, to improve the average order value. Testing different products. So like I was saying, a really good example was this one was, selling mainly t-shirts and switching over to bags and home decor really, really helped a lot. Quantity breaks. This really works really well too if you're able to, if it's like a consumable and they need multiple, like they need to buy more, like it makes sense for them to buy multiple of the product, then offer some sort of incentive, like, percentage off to, shop basically, more and more of it for at discount, and you're basically just easily raise your AOV. And also test different ones out. You don't want to just do 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do like 1, 3, 10, 15, 20, you know what I mean? Like, you just test different ones out, test different offers. And then you can also, make it like the higher one, like most popular. You'll see some brands do that as well, and it works really, really well. So raising pricing, this one, obviously you're going to improve your average order value if you raise prices, and also testing different offerings as well. So that's a really good one as well. whether it's like a discount or, there's tons of different ways to do about it. I would also just look at the space and see what's, trending and testing different things out. It really just honestly comes down to testing. I'm just trying to give you the frameworks here. But all of these really are the main drivers to raise your average order value. Yeah. Okay. Last one here is improving your margins by so with improving margins, there's literally only two ways: either raise prices, or you cut down your costs, or you do both. Okay. So that's really all you can do. But obviously you're going to improve your profitability if you improve your margins. Okay. So very simple as that. Now, CEO of Ridge, I follow him on Twitter, and I found this interesting. He basically said ROAS targets in 2023, they do over 100 million a year. And they spend over 50 million a year on marketing. And the reason why they're able to do that is because their margins are very good. I remember even speaking with a competitor of theirs that was like way smaller, and he was just kind of bashing Ridge's quality. But the thing is, his margins were absolutely terrible for his brand. I think it was around like 50% or so, which I guess is okay, but like 80% is just way better. It just makes it significantly easier to grow your brand, because you can see here ROAS targets 2023, like growing 2x. So he literally is happy with the 2x, but the reason why he's able to do it is because his ROAS, if his margins are about 80%, which I'm thinking that's what they are around, you can see here that they need a minimum 1.25, right, in terms of marketing. So they can basically spend so much and be so profitable. Whereas if you only have the 50% margins, you have to be above a 2x in terms of profitability in order to just break even. We're not even talking about all the other costs involved. So yeah, you can see here, if you want to own a growing business, you need to figure out how to spend half of all incoming dollars on marketing, which is an interesting tweet. Another guy, Zach Stock, that I love, great follow on Twitter. This guy's really, really awesome. He actually just recently started 4 brands, I think about a year ago. And basically they just hit $1 million across all of them, which is, yeah, insanely good. And the one key, this might seem a little overwhelming, one key I really want to highlight here is his margins. Because you can see here, come on, throw the cogs up there, lol. And he's like, call it 20% rough estimate across 4 brands and 100-ish SKUs, which makes it very, very profitable. Because what happens here, now if they have D2C revenues 1.3 million, and they spend D2C revenue, $1,081,000 here. You can see they spent $433. Now, if your cost of goods sold is only 20%, that means of this is about 200,000. You add up 200,000 plus 433, that's 633,000, maybe a touch more than that. And what do you have? You have like $370,000 left over. Like, that's the power of just having really, really good margins. Just people don't understand how much you can scale so much more if you're able to do it. Like, if I was starting a brand, I'd be looking at minimum 80% like gross, and then just working it out from there. To be honest, it just makes it so much easier. Like, if you have 50% margins, it just makes it like so tough. But this guy's just able to scale up so fast because his margins are very, very good. Obviously, there's more factors involved with it, but that's something that I really wanted to highlight. And last thing I have on here as well too is in terms of split testing your pricing, because obviously pricing has a big thing with margins. I remember seeing this app here. Haven't actually used this ourselves, just for FYI, have no affiliate deal or anything like that, but I remember seeing this app and saw the demo video, and it was actually recommended by Zach for split testing your product pages and product prices and your offers and all kind of stuff. Definitely worth it, and the reviews are really, really good too as well. So I would definitely give this a look for improving your price, or just split testing pricing and all that kind of stuff. Now, by the way, if you have an e-commerce brand and you're struggling with growing, or you're struggling with like profitability, and you're doing at least $10,000 per month, there's actually going to be a link in the description here, and it's going to take you to our wonderful website where you're going to be able to schedule in a free growth consultation with myself, and we can sit down and have a chat, kind of map out a bit of a growth plan for you, and potentially even work together as well too. You don't have to click it by any means. I don't, care if you do or not. But if you're struggling with growing your brand, you're struggling with profitability, then definitely feel free to check that out. But that about wraps up this video. If you enjoyed this and love this, free content and love the value here, then definitely free to give it a thumbs up. And also comment down below any suggestions, any video suggestions that you have, or any questions off the back of this. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Really, really appreciate that. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers for watching.